Good morning, everyone. Let's start our new class, that is lecture 4 on classification of continuous time signal. CT signal means continuous time signal, and a brief introduction of systems. So, in that category of classification of continuous time signal, there are basically 4 types of basic continuous time signals are there. Now, we have to note that these 4 types of signals not only defined for continuous time signal, they can also be defined for discrete time signal also. So now, as we continued with our continuous time signals, so let us how these signals can behave with each other. Let us suppose there are 4 types of classification of continuous time signal. First one is impulse signal, second one is step signal, third one is ramp signal, and fourth one is parabolic signal. These 4 signals are also defined as a function also, and they can also be defined by unit impulse function, unit step function, unit ramp function, and unit parabolic function also. So start with the first function, that is unit impulse function or unit impulse signal. Why it is called unit? Because something is there in that of the amplitude of unity. If a unit impulse function we can define, unit impulse function is normally defined as delta of t. Unit impulse function is normally represented as delta of t, and the value of delta of t is equals to 1 for the value of t exactly equals to 0. That means only at a single point of origin at t equals to 0, it has a value of unity. That's why it is known as unit impulse function. Otherwise, for any other values of signal or any other values of time, the signal unit impulse function has a amplitude of 0. That's why it is known as unit impulse function. A certain point, a single point, a impulse is there. Now go to our next signal, that is unit step signal. A step is there. Step is there means suppose we are continuing with a amplitude of a certain level a, and at a certain point of t equals to t1, we are stepping that signal from a to that of the b amplitude. That is the concept of the step signal. Here it is unit step signal. That means before that of the t, because for the value of t is less than 0, before that of the value of t, for all the values of negative of t, the value of ut, unit step function, is normally defined as u of t. Its value is 0 before that of the time. But whenever it is touches at the value of t equals to 0, from that time onwards, its amplitude steps from 0 to 1. So it can be defined as the value of u of t is equals to 1 for the value of t will be greater than equals to 0, and for the rest of the values of t, that means the for value of t is less than 0, its value is continuously 0 onwards. So stepping its value from 0 to 1, starting from the value of t equals to 0 and onwards. That is known as unit step signal. It's a continuous time signal. Now third type of signal, that is known as ramp signal, unit ramp signal. Ramp signal is basically defined as r of t. It is basically represented as r of t, and the value of r of t, that is the amplitude of that of the ramp signal, is normally equal to that of the value of time t for the value of t greater than 0, equals to 0 also. So whenever the value of t is greater than 0 or equals to 0, from that time onwards, the amplitude of that of the ramp signal is exactly dependent or equal to exactly value of that of the time. Whatever the time value is there for the value of t greater than equals to 0, the ramp function amplitude is completely follows that one. That's why it is known as unit ramp signal. Unit ramp means here unity represents the slope of that of the signal. Slope means output by input, y-axis amplitude by x-axis time. For each and every time, even every amplitude, if I consider any time, its amplitude normally defined as follows the time value of that particular signal. So that's why ramp signal is normally defined as t for the value of t is greater than equals to 0, and for the rest of the values, that means for the negative values of t, its value will be, it diminishes, that means equals to 0. That is the third type of continuous time signal, that is unit ramp signal. Now move to our fourth type of signal, that is parabolic signal. Parabolic in nature, that means normally it follows a equation of parabola. So parabolic function is normally defined as the pt function. Pt function means whenever the value of t is greater than equals to 0, here also it defines only for the value of t equals to 0 and right side or positive values of t. For that values of t, its value is equals to a into t square by 2 for each and every value. And if the value of t is less than 0, its value is equals to 0. So for the value of t is greater than equals to 0, it follows a parabolic equation that is normally t square by 2. And if it is defined by parabolic function, unit parabolic function, normally the value of a is equals to 1. So in that way, parabolic function can be defined as pt is equals to a t square by 2 for the value of t is greater than equals to 0. Now, one point to be noted for each and every section of this continuous time signal classification, that please check for each and every signal, it is defined only for the value of t is greater than equals to 0. For this one, parabolic function, for ramp function, t is greater than equals to 0. For step signal also, it is t for greater than equals to 0. And for impulse function also, that is only at the value of t equals to 0. What does it mean? It means that whenever a function is defined for a causal function, then normally the function here, it is defined for causal nature only. Causal function means, causal signal means a realistic function that depends only on the past and present values of signal, not dependent on the future values of that signal. If a function depends on the future values of that of the signal, it will be completely defined as a non-realistic function, non-realizable function. So whenever a function is defined for a continuous time signal, and it is realizable signal, that defines only for a causal type of nature of that of the function, causal type of signal. That's why it is defined for each and every 4 portions of that of the signal will be defined for causal nature of that signal. We assume that the 4 type of signal, continuous time signal, how they are classified? They are classified according to their nature, but all the functions are same in one word, that is they are all a causal function, causal signal. That's why they are always defined for the 0 and positive values of that of the time. In that way, the 4 functions can be defined. Now, one more thing about this 4 function is that whenever we want to convert this impulse function into step function, we are normally integrating the signal. That means integration of impulse function will create a step function. Integration of step function will create a ramp function. Integration of ramp function will create a parabolic function. That means whenever we are doing the integration from 1 to 4, we are creating that signal. Integration of delta t, that is impulse function, will create in step function ut. Integration of ut dt will create a ramp function, that is r of t. Integration of r of t dt will be created as parallel function. Just look at the nature also. If we integrate the value of 1, it will create the value of t. If we integrate the value of t, it normally gives you t square by 2. So in that way, whenever the signals follows in the normal order, in the ascending order from 1 to 4, we are normally integrating the function and we are getting the next function. Similarly, if we do the reverse way, that means differentiation of parabolic function will give you a ramp function, because t square by 2, if I derive this one with respect to t square by 2 means 2t by t, 2 cancel out, we are normally getting the t value. Again, this differentiation of this ramp function also give you step function, because ddt of t will be give you the value of t 1, and for the entire range of t greater than equals to 0, its value is continuously 1, and whenever we are differentiating that value, it is simply converges to a single point of that of time, its value becomes 1. That's why nature in that way. In ascending order from 1 to 4, we are simply integrating the values and we are getting the next portion of that of the signal. And whenever we are differentiating that one, we are simply descending in the descending order 4, 3, 2, 1. We are simply differentiating that signal so that we are getting the previous signal one. So in that way, the 4 types of signals are being defined as. These are all continuous time signal as well as causal signal also. So after that portion of running of that signal, so we are getting some other gathering some idea about that of the signal, what are the signals nature, what are the different types of signal, how a signal can be a continuous time signal, how a signal can be a discrete time signal, what is the nature of dependencies of those signal with respect to that of the a time, with respect to that of the nature of that of the signal, it can be defined. Now, depending upon the different type of nature, in our last class, depending upon the different type of nature, whether it's a power signal, whether it's a even signal, odd signal, aperiodic signal, energy signal, different types of classifications of signals are there. Now, in the first section of this slide also, in this lecture also, we are classifying the continuous time signal in basically 4 ways of signal: step function, impulse function, ramp function, and parabolic function. And one more thing is to be added in that function, that these 4 type of signal are also defined as a singularity functions also, because using this 4 type of signal we can develop any type of signal. By using this 4 type of signal we can develop any type of signal in universe. That's why these 4 types of signals are normally defined as in singularity functions. Functions is normally a signal. So in that way we can gather some idea about the signals. Now, what is the next approach with that of the signal? That means normally we have to process that signal also. See, processing means, suppose I am a transmitter and you people are receiver. If I want to transmit that signal from my point to your point, normally without processor it can reach, but it is limited to certain distance. If I want to talk with you face to face in a classroom, no need of processor is required, because it is very close distance. We can easily transmit my speech signal, and we can easily receive that signal by your ear, because the audible frequency range of 20 to 20,000 hertz, it can be easily accessible in a certain distance. But if we go to that of the gallery of G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, any gallery, and if I want to deliver a lecture, from the middle portions to the last portion of the signal, last portion of that of the benches, it is not clearly audible. In that way we have to use some microphone. So that is the processor through which we are processing that signal. We are enlarging the amplitude of that of the signal so as to reach that portion of that of the signal or information or message to your ear, because in that way distance matters. And another way, if I want to cover that distance in a large way, we have to use some processor so that it can be delivered in that particular way. We are using antenna, we are using amplifier, different devices are there so that to process that signal. So that kind of processor, that kind of portions of that of the physical device that process that signal, whatever we are gathering in our last class, this is known as system. So in that slide, system, what is system? The system can be viewed as a process. It is basically defined as a process through which input signals are transformed by the system and cause the system to respond in some way, resulting in other signals as output. So according to the definition of that system, a system can be viewed as a process. Basically it is being processor. It is defined as a processor. So it is basically defined as a physical device that process that signal, that is can be viewed as a process in which input signals are transformed by the system. The system accepts that signal, it transforms that signal whatever you want to like, and cause the system to respond in some way, resulting in other signals as output. So in that way it can be defined as, so cause the system to respond in some way, resulting in other signals as outputs. So in that way the system can be defined. More specifically, if I want to define a system, system is basically defined as a physical device, same that of the signal. Signal can be defined as a physical quantity and system can be defined as a physical device. Physical device means the device, that processor that accepts that signal and processes that signal also, so that at the output side we are gathering some desired output, whatever we want to get. So system, what is system? System can be defined as a physical device that operates on that of the signal. Some operations is being done on that of the signal, input signal, so that at the output type we are gathering some output. Whether the output can be enlarged version of that amplitude, basically amplifier, it can be defined as an oscillator, it can be defined as a filter, it can be defined as a micro speaker. In that way it can be defined. Whatever it is, whatever the different types of systems are there, the system can process or accepts that portion of that input signal, it processes something and gives you desired output. So basically system can be defined as a physical device that operates on that of the signal. It is basically defined as a processor. So in that way it can be defined as. Clear? So in that way system can be defined as. Now, like that of the signal, system can also be of basically two types: a continuous time system and discrete time system. Depending upon the nature of that of the type of system, it can be defined as a continuous time and discrete time system. That means this is basically classification of that of the system. The basic classification of system can also be defined in the two ways. One is continuous time system, one is discrete time system. If the system is continuous time system, basically the input signal is defined with respect to small t, because t is defined as a continuous time and n is defined as a discrete time system. So continuous time systems are those systems, continuous systems are defined as those processors that processes only continuous time signal. Here input will be defined only for a continuous time signal. If a continuous time signal is being defined for a particular device, for a particular physical device, and the output also we are gathering in terms of continuous time system, that system is known as a continuous time system. Any type of amplifier, we are giving the input as a speech signal or any type of signal electrical nature. If that signal is continuous time, so that processor or that system is known as a continuous time system or continuous time system or continuous system. Continuous processor can be defined. So basically whenever we are defining one system a continuous time system, input and output both will be defined as a continuous time type. And if it is discrete time system, normally the input will be defined as a discrete time signal. The signal input for this type of system will be defined with respect to the value of n. X of n will be our input. N will be discretized in nature. So for each and every value of that of the time, we can't get any idea about that of the signal. Only for some specific instant of time, we are gathering the idea about that of the system. And whenever we are processing that discrete time signal through that of the system, the output is also gathering as a discrete time output. Whatever it is, it can be amplifier, it can be oscillator, whatever it is. Digital signal processor also, DSP also, that accepts only digital signal. It can be a discrete time signal. So in that way, discrete time system can be defined as. So discrete time system can be defined as a system for which the input is a discrete time signal. That means discretized in nature. For each and every, for some distinct instant of time, we are gathering some idea about that of the signal that is being processed by that of the processor, that of the system. And at the output side, the output signal is also discrete in nature. That is not defined for each and every instant of time. So in that way, discrete time signal also defined. So basically in that way, continuous time system and discrete time system is being defined. And one point to remember very easily, that continuous time signal input is continuous time signal, that is gettable in universe, but discrete time signal cannot be gettable. We are not getting directly any signal in discrete type, but we have to make that transformation. That means for discrete time signal also, as input from universe, we are gathering some continuous nature. Normally discrete time signal cannot be there in universe, cannot be generated automatically, but we have to convert that continuous time signal into a discrete time signal. So for a discrete time signal, input is a continuous time signal. So for a certain blocks will be there, for which the continuous signal as first have to convert into a discrete time system signal, then we can apply that signal into a discrete system. And at the output also we are gathering that discrete time signal. But if I want to get that original output back, we have to convert that discrete time signal into a continuous signal also. So in that way, we can say that in comparison to continuous time system and discrete time system, continuous system will be simple to use, because input is continuous, output is also continuous. That is gettable in universe. But discrete time signal, the input is discrete time, output is discrete. That is not normally gettable naturally from that of the system. So in that way, the system can be defined as a continuous time system and discrete time system. So in that way, our end of the lecture 4, that is a system. So what we have studied? We have studied about different type of continuous time signal, as well as some introduction of system is there. So hope you understand. We'll continue our next class with the detailed classification of system. Thank you everyone.